All right, welcome back, everyone. So this week we're doing something a little different than our normal format. We're doing a movie review, or we all watched the movie Listers, which if you're not familiar, pause it, go to YouTube and watch this movie because it's really, really entertaining. And I guess so. Everybody here has seen it at this point.
Yes.
We have.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so it's about like two guys that want to get into birding and do a big year for the lower 48, and they're kind of like unlikely duo. They're both kind of stonerish guys that like decide to live in their car for a year and literally know probably nothing about birding to start. And
Yeah, they absolutely know nothing about birding before they start. They're brothers. I'm not sure how old they are either, but they
I'm not
look.
sure.
The one with the mullet, his name is Quentin. He has very, very, very nice skin. When I look at his skin after the things they're doing, and I look at it at the beginning, and it still looks nice at the end, they spend a year sleeping in a run-down van. So every time I looked at it, I'm like, okay, well, your hair is showing signs of your behavior, but your skin is still so beautiful.
They do.
That's
They look good.
parking lots do that for you.
Cracker Barrel parking lots too. It's hilarious. It's absolutely and utterly hilarious. I felt, not so much me, but I felt like they were part of my world at that point. Like I looked at them and I saw a ton of people that I knew. Right, John? Including John and
John,
his family.
I was going to say, is John one of those people?
Yeah. Yes. So, and we actually knew people in the documentaries.
Oh, cool.
That's how circular and enclosed the space is.
Cool.
Oh, that's so cool.
Right.
Did you know
And
some of the young experts or?
No, we've heard some of their names.
Okay.
Yeah.
How cool.
We haven't met them yet, but
So cool.
and the one thing though that people should know, so it's called A Glimpse into Extreme Birdwatching, which is a good kind of appended title to this. But if you haven't looked at a lot of, this is a really well done documentary, and if you haven't looked at a lot of well produced bird things, their photography and their videography is fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, for someone who hasn't watched birds before, to be able to watch them that carefully and get video of them doing things that they're naturally doing, it was really, I mean, it was mesmerizing. And I could watch John do this. I couldn't, but not look at the bottom left corner. So every bird is identified, but John didn't know that at first because he's so busy staring at the bird itself that he was identifying them. I'm like, yeah, I know. It says right on the bottom. It says. But that's a good challenge for people who are really into it like that, is to, take a look and identify things on your own. So that was kind of subtly done. I think it took me a while to realize that they were doing that, which I think is a really thoughtful and interesting part of that documentary, is to do that, is to let people kind of figure out, or let extreme birders extreme bird while watching this documentary. And that's essentially what it did, which I found that's a very insightful thing for them to have done. And I'd like to hear them describe that. They have an Instagram that I didn't have time to go look at, that they did through the whole year. But this is so common. I see every single one of my friends, all of our graduate school friends, all of the bird watching people I know, to go and do things like that. This is like, there are a lot of people who do this.
Oh, wow.
They may not have penetrated most people's worlds, but it is not uncommon in our world.
Wow.
I would say that it's the kind of thing you would like to think you could do.
Oh, right.
Oh,
In
yeah.
other words, the commitment of spending 365 days looking for birds
Yeah.
is insane.
And I love that,
And
they did get a
show
little burnt out by the end too. It's
Yeah.
like it's not like it's all they're
Fun.
super into it. They're so like enthusiastic at points, but then at other times it totally shows the parts where they're like, this is rough. Why did we do this? And
Yes.
Except then they
Yes.
go and rejuvenate themselves by taking a tour to go see flamingos. Even though
Yeah.
they'd seen
Oh, yeah.
flamingos, they hadn't had time to really observe them, and so they go out to do that. And you can just watch that fill them up again.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah.
that act of doing that, which I found like that, and that too is a very revealing aspect of them. That they actually, it didn't take them long to become obsessed with
I,
with
so
the.
what I want to know is whether any other movie critic reviewed this movie.
So
Yes, a
So,
lot of people did.
I actually
Really?
I follow them on Instagram, and they shared a thing that came out with like year-end reviews, and Slate, which is like some big movie
Yeah.
review thing, listed it as one of the top 10 movies of 2025.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, that's
It had
awesome.
it had like all of these like these big name movies, and then it was like an unknown like underfunded birding documentary that
Oh,
and then it was
what an
this movie. So it's
accomplishment.
so cool that these guys
Yeah.
have like broken
Yeah.
through. I mean, they just made it by themselves and posted it on YouTube, and it took off. Like, how cool that you can reach
That's
people in that way these
awesome.
days.
So,
Yes.
you know, it'd be fun to talk to them about.
Yeah, we should ask them if they want to come on and talk to us. That would
Yeah.
be so much fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this is a genre at some level, and what I mean by that is they did a really neat thing that I loved at the very beginning, where they were talking about the idea of trying to do this, and they put a couple book covers up on one of the for just a second, and they were two books. One's called Wild America, and the other one's called Kingbird Highway. And they were done about 20, 25 years apart. So Kingbird Highway or Wild America was Roger Tory Peterson and this guy named James Fisher, who was from the UK. And they drove around the U.S. to try to see North America, basically, to try to see as many birds as they could in a year. This is way before the American Birding Association
Oh,
or
wow.
any of these professional things. And this book, Wild America, when I was a kid, it was one of my all-time favorite books because they talk about seeing the birds, but they also talk about conservation and seeing all these habitats around North America as they're going around in their car all by driving, and then at some point they fly up to Alaska and spend some time up there too. But that's the first book like that where somebody's really making an effort to do that, and it's a very different pace. It's definitely the juxtaposition of the two is really different. And in between is Ken Kaufman's book, Kingbird Highway, or in the that's a 1973 book where
No, he did it in 1973.
right, the book came out.
The
Yeah.
book came out 20 years ago or something. I'm not sure exactly when the book came out, but
Yeah.
he was a teenager when he did that. He went around, and the
cool.
stories are very. There's no doubt that Ken sees himself in those two young men who did this documentary.
Mm.
You know, a lot of similar stories and driving all over the place, and probably getting high too, which I also found funny. 'Cause I saw this on edibles. I'm like, oh my God. And I met Joel Osteen. Good Lord, that was hilarious.
Oh, that was awesome. Yeah. Yeah. John, for the two books you mentioned, was there a mechanism to compare your bird list with anyone else's bird lists at either point for those books?
Really, really good question. The answer is not really. So by the time Ken Kaufman was doing it, I think almost, yeah, people hadn't really thought about doing it competitively. So,
Okay.
so one of the things the movie definitely gets into is this aspect of eBird and what it allows. And so, for instance, in the time in 1973, finding out about rare birds that are the kinds of things that you need to really get your list up higher was really kind of a phone tag type thing. You know, somebody in Florida would find something, but you needed to have people that could, you could count on to call you from Florida to say, look, this bird's here. Ken actually had no money, so he wasn't going to drive hundreds of miles if he was in South Dakota when a fork-tailed flycatcher showed up in Florida or something. And so, the evolution of this, and I mean, again, these guys are driving the whole way, which is I find fascinating too. People do it a lot of different ways. If you're people have done it flying all over the place. So the record for North America, including Hawaii, is 840 species.
Oh,
Good
wow.
God.
Wow.
That's almost 10% of all birds to see in one year.
And what that might involve is multiple trips to Hawaii, to Alaska, for instance, to catch both spring and fall migration, because you get a few more species that way. And so, it can be something that costs a tremendous amount of money. And then you could do it by car like these guys do. And I'm sure it still wasn't cheap, but
Right.
man,
Yeah.
I mean, it's,
So
Yeah, well,
you don't have to go full in like that, because there are things called big days. John's done that a whole bunch of times, where you see how many birds you can see in 24-hour period of time. That's a fundraising thing for graduate students at LSU. They get sponsorships to see how many birds they're going to get in that 24-hour period of time. So you don't have to, you can just sacrifice a day.
do you know what the record is for a big day?
no, and it's big in part because you can, if you do them in a place like around southeastern Peru, you can get hundreds of species.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
So there's geography matters. I was looking, actually, the record for a year is something over 6,000 species.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
But again, the amount of money that would take is pretty substantial.
Yeah.
Seriously.
You don't do that without guides.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You have people taking you to where the birds, local people know exactly where these birds are, because you can't waste time kind of just like farting around on your own. You have to go right to where that bird is.
Right. I have to say, one aspect that I loved about the movie was the various places they end up with, where for whatever reason there are going to be lots of birders around. And so sometimes it's just the local people, but sometimes if it's a good bird that they're going after in terms of a vagrant that's shown up, there can be people from all over the U.S. that have come in to see that bird so they can get it on their North American life list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I'd love to see, like, from the other people's perspective, what these two guys showing up at these places were like at the beginning of the year versus seeing them at the end. Like, they're probably like, who are these clowns? And then by the end, it's like, wow, these guys are really.
There's absolute snobbery associated with things like that for many, many, many of these extreme bird watchers. So they form a camaraderie, but it can be, they're not often generous.
So the other movie that's along these lines is The Big Year.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right.
Which I can't remember when that came out, but that's about a story of competition at some level. But again, Shannon's right. I mean, these are personalities, and so the boat trip, for instance, is a.
Oh, that is hilarious.
That was one of the funniest parts of the whole movie.
I have thrown up off the edge of a boat looking for seabirds. For someone to say nobody throws up, I'm like, what the heck what are you talking about?
I love, like, one of the brothers was like, I took something for motion sickness, and the other guy's like, I took some psychedelic mushrooms. I was like, that's not what I was expecting.
But it was a scientific experiment.
Yes, one was the control. Yeah.
And then he talks about when they kick in too.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have never, well, obviously I'm the straightest person probably amongst all of our listeners, all 10 of us. I'm probably the straightest person any of you know. But no, I have no idea what it's like to take mushrooms or do any drug.
Not on a boat while
The very
while
idea
birding.
of that just made, as soon as it came up, it was just like, this is not going to end well.
Yeah.
I mean, the cast of characters that goes through this thing, we could put people to every single one of those characters, people in our lives, even if we don't know them. Some of them we know, but we can absolutely put characters to all of these people. So that's how kind of representative they are of that culture. But the one thing I found, well, lots of things make me feel old right now, but the one thing that really highlighted that and the difference between those young men and the 18-year-old kid who is doing that, whose name I can't remember.
Ezekiel Dobson.
Yeah,
you,
well, he
Ezekiel.
said, they asked him, would you do this without eBird? And he said no.
Yes.
So they had the challenge that the brothers had the challenge that they took on of trying to do more of this on their own without eBird, right? Taking more kind of harder looks to see if they could figure things out without the technology. But that kid said no. And I found that really, really, really interesting. So that puts it a lot more into a competition like that than
right.
Interesting you say that, because I would have said that they embraced technology.
They did, but they didn't stay there.
Right.
And he's obviously a very good birder and has seen a lot of birds. But he is, the technology is a significant part of the whole experience for him. Whereas it was a need for the brothers to do this.
And I think, Shannon, what you talked about earlier with the flamingo scene was kind of a turning point in the movie with that, where they were so into the list and following the listing and had talked to that other guy that said he wouldn't do it without eBird, and they kind of got burnt out on the list. And then they had that moment where they just went and saw flamingos, and it was like, that was like the happiest that they had been to just go focus on seeing some cool birds instead of being like all over your list and trying to do this for achievement purposes. So I thought that was a cool
I do think they did
movie.
a very good job of not melting down completely.
Yeah.
in some pretty bad situations.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And I liked just the chronicle of road life, like when they, sleeping in the car and like worrying about going to the bathroom and worrying about like where you're going to shower, and the cooking from the back of the car and the monotony of what you eat when you're living that way. And the funny people you encounter in parking lots and stuff like that was like, I feel like, I think we all did kind of maybe something similar when you're young, and it just reminded me of that time in your life, and I loved it. I loved it.
Young, Amanda? I think people my age are doing that. People I know my age are doing that. So it's not a youth thing.
It's not easy to take a year off from your, I feel like once you're in the swing of adult life, like,
Yeah.
So
kudos
being
to
an
them.
adult isn't all it's cracked up to be.
I mean, that movie
Agreed.
is being well reviewed by something like Slate because it's really well done.
Yes.
And so I have this suspicion that not that they completely planned things out, but they absolutely had some sort of vision for what they were going to put together at the end. I think that is super impressive.
I mean,
I
some
agree.
people were saying it should be nominated for an Oscar in the documentary kind of things. So, and these are not people who birdwatch. So I found that interesting.
That's awesome.
I mean, they jumped into a culture that is pretty impenetrable.
Yeah.
With no experience.
Yeah.
That's where being young counts, because
You're
you're
right.
if you're fearless, a lot more fearless when you're young. It's like, okay, I want to do it. Why not? I'm going to do it.
Let's do it. Yeah.
They had each other. So, and you're always going to be a brother no matter what other things happen along the way. That's not going away, because that is not easy. The two of them were sleeping in that same minivan with all of their gear, eating a lot of beans, black
I
beans.
was gonna
And then I
say,
think
what-
it's funny at the end when
Yeah.
they say they're using pinto beans for variety.
Yeah,
But
I know.
I mean, we've all cooked on things like that too, the way they were cooking. So this is
Right.
not unfamiliar to
That
me
was
and John.
fancy. We used to just cut open, pull open the top of a Campbell's chicken noodle soup and just eat it cold.
Oh,
Oh,
That's what
gross.
John's dad did. That
I
right?
can't
That's was
believe I did that.
camping with
awesome.
John's dad.
That is
Glad when my
hardcore.
brother discovered cooking stoves.
That's hilarious. That's so funny. That is dark when you're eating a can of soup cold.
It's-
Like that is awesome.
About the only thing I can say that isn't too bad without being heated up is Dinty Moore beef stew.
But this is where you've gotten soft, dude, because you would never do that now. If there weren't a microwave, you're not eating that stuff.
Inside the Cracker Barrel and
yeah, there we go.
Wait, what'd you say, John? What'd you say?
He's gonna go
Going in.
inside Cracker Barrel and eat some green beans that have been soaking in water all year, probably as long as a big year in water in a Cracker Barrel.
I loved. I wrote it down. They said in Cracker Barrel 42 nights across the year.
Amazing.
So it's more than a month of
Amazing.
Cracker Barrel parking lots.
but I'll give Cracker Barrel credit for letting them do that.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Way to go, Cracker Barrel.
Yeah. There was the part, remember, they were on the phone with Cracker Barrel and they were like, are we allowed to stay overnight? And the Cracker Barrel was like, yeah, totally. That's part of our policy.
Yes.
So, I mean, that's
Like,
cool.
how awesome is that? Yeah.
I've always heard,
That's one of those things where it's a lot harder than you might expect sometimes to find reasonable places to sleep in those situations.
I
And
totally believe that. Yeah, that's so awesome. What about the Amish birders?
Oh, that was
Yeah.
hilarious too.
that was so cool.
Are you allowed to talk on the phone? Am I getting you in trouble by talking to you on the phone?
And they were,
I like
it was
that
like the only,
they-
oh, go ahead.
They didn't clean themselves up either. Well, maybe they
Mhm.
did, but that part was like going to the bathroom and missing things while someone else is like the couple going to the bathroom at the same time because they didn't want someone to see something and the other one not to see something.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
I've,
Dark-
they did.
that's what they were looking for.
Well, so they were looking for the, is it the three-toed woodpecker the whole time?
Woodpecker.
And John, I remember you saw one a couple years ago you sent us pictures of, right?
But yes, and at the same time, the thing about that bird is for my entire childhood, that was sort of mythological. In other words,
Oh, wow.
they talk about going by these dead stands of trees. And I love the line at one point. He goes, they're supposed to be, it's their favorite habitat. And he goes, where are they? If that's
Yeah.
their favorite habitat, they might be in real danger.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the clapping
know.
together of the rocks for yellow rails,
Oh, yeah. That was so cool.
which John says he's done.
I have done that
Oh,
That's
cool.
awesome.
unsuccessfully.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
The
we
description of that bird was funny too, because if you've seen it, it's not a yellow rail.
And in the field guide, that's what they were.
Yeah,
That's what
if you see it, it's not actually a yellow rail.
I don't know which field guide that was, but just because the bird never comes out into the open.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's yeah.
Okay.
So it's not a yellow rail if you actually lay your eyes on it. If you hear it, that's one thing.
That's hilarious. If you see it.
well, so we do have a couple questions that people sent in. Do you want to get into those? Are you guys
Yeah,
ready?
sure.
Okay.
Sure.
So there was just some people sent us some stuff on social media. Somebody sent a note just saying, have you ever slept in your car for a bird?
Well, my response is, hasn't everyone? The answer is, of course, yes.
Nice.
Yeah, I was trying to pick which ones. I can remember trying to sleep someplace on the eastern shore of Maryland. We were going after Swainson's warbler, I think, and having a knock on the window a couple hours in, and it was a one of the park rangers for the area, but he had an Eastern Shore accent. And so I was kind of groggy. I was a little kid, and my dad was talking to him, and I thought the guy had a speech impediment. I had no idea. He had an accent from the Eastern Shore. I don't remember what we did, actually. We must have moved the car someplace.
I was going to say, did he let you stay, or did you guys have to?
Yeah. I never slept very well in those situations. I was thinking somebody was going to knock on the window.
Yeah. It's hard.
Yeah, I don't think Amanda and I are quite there yet. We haven't slept in the car for Bird. We've done some pretty nasty camping before, and like some storms and stuff, but never in the cars.
No.
Yeah.
So the flip side of that is I helped my brother move from Baltimore, Maryland, and his wife out to Portland, Oregon, and my brother's father-in-law came along, and he was a self-made refugee from Poland who'd come to the U.S. and built things up. He thought my brother was absolutely crazy for loving birds.
Oh.
We were having this one day which we were driving across the country where it got late, and we were trying to figure a spot off. And I've always tried to refigure out where this is on the interstate, because it was someplace in Montana. And about 5 p.m, we pulled off and we went up this road, and we were the only people at this campsite. And it was absolutely, there's a nice stream going by, and it was literally one of the most peaceful, beautiful places I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, cool.
So the idea that you can run into those spots too is always worth remembering.
Yeah.
So awesome.
Yeah, not everything out there when you're bird watching looks like a Cracker Barrel parking lot.
Right.
Or a place with 500 birders, all with very expensive and fancy equipment, training their binoculars on the same place and pushing each other out of the way to see what it is. But the way they describe finding birds, that was an interesting transition too. The idea that you describe it by it's at the dump, or it's by the wiffle ball.
Yeah.
You know, the stick here, and there's a wiffle ball, and then the bird is beside the wiffle ball. Or you're going to a women's prison, which we've done these things. Go to the New Orleans dump, people, if you want to see birds.
I remember one of the best places for rufous-winged sparrow in Arizona. You had to drive by this, it was a low security prison, but there were all these signs, don't pick up hitchhikers.
Oh.
What are we doing? Getting out of the car and running off into the
I like, there was a part in the movie where they talked about how they drove like 2 hours out of their way they were still learning like what was a rare bird versus like a common bird, and they went like 2 hours out of their way to go see a long-tailed grackle. And Amanda and I got so excited when we saw our first long-tailed grackle.
Yeah.
And we were just in a gas station parking lot, and we're like, look at that. Yeah. And we had no idea that it was like we'd see 100 more on our just go around the other side of the gas station. But it's like when you see something new and you don't know about it, you do get so excited, even if it's totally common.
Yes.
Watching it dawn on them that rare birds are not beautiful was interesting too. So they go to Florida, and they're like, this is the bird. There's nothing not remarkable at all. That's funny. Okay, what's the next? The next question.
Yeah, so someone asked our worst mosquito experience or any other bugs.
I mean, I always think of people with T-shirts that said Minnesota State bird, and it was a mosquito. and I mean, I've been a lot of places in South America, but the worst mosquitoes I've ever experienced were up in Alaska.
Wow.
Just because there were so many of them. Like, you'd put your binoculars up and there'd be mosquitoes inside your between your binoculars and your eyes, just because there was so.
Louisiana,
awful.
John reacts, he gets like a little bump for part of a day. I get them for weeks. I get big red welts that are so itchy they make me insane, and I get them for weeks. And Louisiana, there are so many mosquitoes. That's where I experienced all of the horrors of bugs. Well, before I went to the tropics, and then I got worse.
That's what I was going to say.
But,
Then you got a botfly.
Yeah, didn't you have a botfly,
yeah,
Shannon?
well, that's a mosquito thing too. But yeah, I would get so many. They would be all over my legs before I even got all the way out of the car. In some of the places we would go bird watching in Louisiana. And then I'd never experienced fire ants before Louisiana. I didn't know those things exist. And chiggers might be the worst thing that I never experienced till I went to Louisiana. I didn't know there were such things as chiggers. They're evil.
I hate those. Yeah.
And I don't like mosquitoes at all. Mosquitoes carry deadly diseases. So
the night when they're trying to sleep in the car and they just absolutely horrible nights.
And one laid an egg on me and gave me a botfly. That almost killed me.
Gosh. Can you talk about it a little more, Shannon? I feel like you told us a story off camera one time.
It's gross. But I came back from Costa Rica and I had a sore on my shoulder that didn't heal. And so eventually, after maybe several weeks, I went to the doctor. The doctor who specializes in tropical diseases. Okay, I'm not going to a GP who's going to see if you have an ear infection. I actually went to real people like that, and they weren't sure what it was. They thought it might be leishmaniasis, and so they took a biopsy of it, and then it took a while to get the results back. And by that time, I'm like, okay, this is ridiculous. And this thing, it hurt. And every time it would really hurt, this stuff would come out of my shoulder. It was like a strange, goopy matrix thing, and it had little black things in it. And so I'm like, okay, I'm a biologist. That part wasn't gross. So I put it on I put it under a microscope at LSU. I looked at it and I'm like, oh, those are spines. And then then I knew I had a botfly. And so, okay, fine. Something had to be done. A lot of people put tape over it. So I tried that for a day. That didn't work. Other people put meat on it and the botfly will come out. But these things maggots? These things have recurved spines. So when they dig into you, you cannot pull them out without leaving the spines and potentially getting yourself pretty sick and infected. So they're not going anywhere. And this thing was very happy inside of me. It was extremely happy. And so it wasn't coming out. It was getting bigger spines. So as it was getting bigger spines, this stuff would come out of me with these little black things in them, in the spines. And so I figured out what it was. I figured it out on a Friday, and I thought, well, I'll tell the doctor on Monday. And I was living with Kevin Burns, the tanager guy at the time, and I was sitting in bed, and I felt the thing again. And I looked down, and my nightgown was covered in blood.
Oh.
And I stood up, and there's blood pouring down me. And I'm like, Kevin. And he comes, he goes, oh my God, you're going to die. I'm like, not helpful. And it had hit an artery, and it had dug deep enough to hit an artery inside my shoulder. So we put pressure on it. It stopped bleeding. It wasn't that big of a deal. But so by that point, I'm getting concerned that this thing is like, I feel like something out of Alien, that movie, something
or
like
the
that.
Fly.
It's going to pop out of me. So I went to the doctor on that Monday, and he's like, at that point I had an infection. And he's like, we have to take this out of you. It's not coming out by normal means.
No
we got to
shit.
take it out.
I can't believe that didn't occur to him earlier.
So he said, you come back tomorrow morning, we'll take it out. And so I come back the next day, and the nurse is there, and he's just, the doctor surgeon guy is describing it, what he's going to do with the nurse. And she goes, well, if it's alive, I'm out of here.
That's what I would say too.
In other words, she's leaving the doctor to his own devices. And the doctor says, well, can I have it? And I said, no, you can't have it. It's mine. I grew it. I'm birthing it. You taking a baby from a C-section patient? No, it's mine. And so anyways, the thing had left. It kind of makes its own cocoon inside of you, and it kind of deadens the tissue. And so this left, it was like, a really big gumball size of hard tissue that they dug out of my shoulder. So I have a scar and a serious indentation there from where the guy had to dig it out. But it was alive. So he cut it open and it was alive when he cut it open. That thing was not, I don't know how long that thing would have stayed inside of me.
Not much
I
longer.
don't know.
What was
was
its
gross.
MO? Was it trying to lay eggs in you, or had it been laid in you?
It's an egg that becomes a larvae and then
Okay.
metamorphoses into
Yeah.
a.
They
Oh my
capture
God.
mosquitoes and put their eggs in mosquitoes so that they can go from the proboscis of the mosquito into the hole the
Oh.
mosquito makes. And then it happily, lives its life as this
Okay.
larva until it's going to emerge.
So this is
Which
a
is-
mosquito story.
Yes, it is.
Oh my
Absolutely
God.
a mosquito story.
My God.
Yeah.
Wait, so I have to know, were you two dating at this time?
We weren't. Were we dating?
Mm,
I don't think we were.
it was close, though. Yeah.
Were you
No,
like,
we
look at
weren't.
my scar?
No, other people have worse. John can tell you worse stories about insects. He had leishmaniasis. That's way worse than what I had.
What's that?
What's that?
So that's a disease that's carried by sandflies. It's a
It's a
parasite,
protozoan parasite.
zoonoid parasite, and the problem is it gets in you, and they're absolutely gigantic literature. They're found all over it's found all over the tropics, and they're two major different types, and cutaneous and non-cutaneous, and one of them goes after cards after a while. So people that have it for a long time can lose their nose or things. But the biggest
And
problem,
other parts of their male parts, in case you were
Oh.
wondering.
Oh,
the,
no.
the thing about it is that the only way they know to treat it, or have known to treat it, or most kinds of it, is to give you antimony, which is essentially a heavy metal, and you're just trying to poison and at the same time, I mean, I got it when I was working in Manaus, Brazil, as a volunteer on this banding project, and it shows up in Manaus on a regular basis. So there was a clinic in Manaus where they would give you free antimony, and I got these vials of antimony that I had to inject into my butt, and I went straight back out into the field and started banding birds again. I mean, it just
Oh my God.
Oh
But
my
it didn't
gosh.
go away.
well, the story gets longer because I had this lesion on that I knew I had lice because it makes a lesion somewhere, and I had a lesion on my thigh, and so I took the antimony, and my time in Brazil finished, and the antimony was the lesion was almost clear, but there's a little bit of a bump. And the head of the project at the time, Rob Beauregard, told me, he said, take a couple vials of antimony back and take them. So I did that. And a couple weeks later, the lesion started coming back. And
Oh.
so what do you do at that point? Well, it turns out my mom worked for the public health service. And so she made a few calls. Next thing you know, I'm in the office at the University of Arizona Hospital with a guy who is just happy as a clam to see me. And because he did a MD PhD on leishmaniasis.
Oh,
And
thank
he literally
God.
goes, sit here for a second. I'll be right back. And he comes back a minute or two later with this other doctor and says to her, what do you think this is? And she looks at it and she goes, well, if you're standing next to it, it must be leishmaniasis.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And what he ended up doing was, because I didn't have the one that goes after cartilage over time, he actually just took this thing that was developed for cattle that would heat surface of tissue up to just below the burning point, and he did a couple of treatments like that on the lesion that I had, and it went away and never came back.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So we
That's-
both have, John has a scar from that. I have a scar
man.
from mine. I don't
Oh
think
my
you can
gosh.
see it, though.
Not going to see mine.
No.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh,
You two
man.
are gross.
Indeed, we are. I
It's
can tell
badass.
you, I
That makes
watched my
the
own. I
makes
watched
the
my own
listers, guys.
C-section.
Yeah. I was gonna say, you guys make
John
the listers
couldn't-
mosquito stories seem like wimps.
I know. Seriously.
No, but did you see them being covered in mosquitoes? I've been like that. It is. I don't like mosquitoes at
Yeah.
all. Ugh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
oh.
that's crazy.
You-
Man,
Do you remember,
Shannon,
Shannon, you
that
remember going to see the hawk owl in Alaska when we were up there?
What do you mean? The fact that they're the size of hummingbirds?
Well, the
Well,
mosquitoes,
Alaska mosquitoes are huge too.
oh.
but
Whoa.
again, because it was 24 hours of daylight, the mosquitoes are out the whole time pretty much.
Oh, just
Oh.
awful.
We were battling mosquitoes at 10 o'clock at night to go see this hawk owl,
Oh.
which was absolutely wonderful.
So then you build a fire so that you hope the smoke keeps them away
Yeah.
from you. A lot of mosquitoes.
Ugh, that is so gross.
They also carry malarial parasites too, so they definitely have their thing going on.
Yeah.
So what is your biggest bug story?
I don't have anything compared to that.
Nothing like that.
Those black flies, I mean, just really bad black flies up in the UP where they just
Yeah.
cover your legs and put on pants and they cover your pants and trying to get into
Those
the car
things can
before they all
bite
get
through
off.
your legs.
Yeah,
Bite through
yeah.
your jeans. They're scary.
But they didn't lay
Yeah.
anything inside my body, so.
No. Yeah. I've had a lot of chiggers over the years, and chiggers like to, for people who have not had a chigger, they like to go in like tight areas. So you get them like along your underwear line, like near all your private parts. So they're always fun. And that always, to me, feels like some things in your body because it makes like that hard bump. But I've learned there's not like something in your body. It's just
already
your
gone.
reaction.
Yeah,
What's that, John?
it's already gone at that point. But man,
Exactly.
they're just they're terrible.
They are terrible. Yeah. And it's funny because I think there's still that misconception out there that they're in there because you read all the time to like put nail polish on the hole to make them, to like suffocate them. And it's, maybe that's just like psychologically like comforting.
Or maybe it lowers the itch to do something like that.
Yes. I think that's
I
true.
think
Yeah.
At
I think
that
it's
point, you can't even count them. You get so many chigger bites.
Yeah. I
Like
hear you.
you could never count them.
Yeah. And RJ, have you gotten,
I don't know if I have.
I feel
Yeah,
like,
I'm not
I don't know
sure.
if it's because girls
Who
wear
gets one
underwear.
chigger bites? Nobody gets
Yeah.
one chigger bite.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, yeah, I must not have.
It's because your underwear is nice and loose.
But you probably wear socks. I had them worse on
That's
my
true.
legs.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God. I used a credit card. I didn't even know what they were. And I went to Louisiana right before I moved here to find a place to live. And then I went home to British Columbia to get all my stuff. And then I drove down. And as I was flying home, I felt my legs burning in the plane. And I thought I was going to die. I had no idea what they were.
Oh.
And I used a credit card and I basically scrubbed the skin off because it was the only thing I could find that could cover a big enough surface area to stop the itch. Was so terrible. And you're
so
stuck on a
gross.
plane. You can't do anything,
No,
you know?
that is so
Nobody has
gross.
calamine lotion on a plane. So
Yeah,
just
you're
kind of
so
stuck
helpless.
there. Ugh. And I didn't know what they were either. And I called this friend of ours. Her name is Catherine Cummins. And I called to her when I got back to British Columbia. I'm like, what happened? She goes, oh, you just had chiggers. I'm like, oh my God, I'm not moving there. Are you kidding me? Staying up here.
Was this before or after the botfly?
Before the botfly.
I was gonna say that after the botfly, I'm sure you're like, whatever, chiggers.
No, chiggers are terrible. I don't. Botfly was bad. The chiggers. Chiggers and a
For
lot
the-
of mosquito bites are much.
that are worse. Yeah, but so with the botfly, did they just do a general anesthesia?
Yeah.
Like okay.
Yeah. He just put a stick of local in it, and I don't remember feeling any pain, but I do remember being really surprised at the golf ball
The
size
size.
of necrotic tissue that he
Ugh.
kind of, and it was very smooth. Like it was the edges. It was not like raggedy at all. It was a very smooth ball of tissue. So I guess it was easy to cut out because you could see exactly what the thing had done and was doing.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Did you like pickle that ball?
Yes, I have it
Oh, you did?
somewhere.
Oh my
I
God.
did.
Could you show
There's
us
no
next time?
way, if I can find it, there's no
Ah.
way I was giving it to the doctor. I mean,
Yeah. But you gave him the bug.
no,
Oh,
I have
okay.
the
So you
botfly. I have the tissue and the botfly in a
Awesome.
jar somewhere.
Okay. You have to find that. I need to see that. I'm surprised that's like
Yeah.
not on your windowsill behind you, like a
A trophy.
memento.
Yeah.
No, because everybody else, that was my first time to the tropics, right? So everybody, this was a mild story. I didn't get malaria. I didn't get leishmaniasis. I didn't get a lot of the worst diseases that you can get. So this was a mild thing. And of course, it would
Wow.
have to be mosquitoes, my most dreaded insect that delivered me that gift.
Yes. That's crazy.
All right, so we
Yeah.
got just one more question. Somebody asked, have you ever gone to any extreme lengths to see a bird, or what is your most dangerous birding story?
I don't know if John and I have the same story, but we did the stupidest thing we've ever done in our life to go see birds on the coast, northeast coast, Massachusetts, during Hurricane Bob to see what birds might have been. This was I looked it up, August 19th, 1991. And that sounded fun. And we were in my car, which was a 2-door Nissan Sentra. So this was not a rugged car in any way, shape, or form. And we were with John's brother. And so we went to, what on earth possessed us? I'm not usually that prone to peer pressure. And so we went there to see birds, and a hurricane is no joke. So
Right.
partway through that day, we realized this was a really bad idea, and we went to a shelter in a school to ride the rest of it out. I don't remember seeing a bird. I remember the color of the sky and thinking about how incredibly stupid I was.
John, is your story the same as that one?
I was trying to think of a story. I mean, one of my favorite ones was that I can't remember, the birding hotline. My dad got a call one night, and there were Barrow's goldeneyes over at Parker Canyon Dam up in northeastern Arizona, and the guy that called was one of the guys that wrote Birds of Arizona, a guy named Gail Monson, and he said, "You better go see him now because they're never going to show up again."
Oh,
Which is
wow.
always a funny thing to say because it's almost never true. But the next morning, which was a school day, I think we left at like 5 a.m. My dad drove for probably 14, 15 hours to get up to Parker Canyon Dam. And I want to say it was dark when we got there, and we probably slept someplace along the road. But the next morning, there were Barrow's goldeneyes in the water below the dam with common goldeneyes. And it was just
That's
incredibly
awesome.
Cool.
That was super cool of your dad to take you to do that.
Yeah.
Oh, no, not take him. His dad, his dad would have done that without John being around at all. This was
you're
was John
lucky.
going around to spend time with his dad.
That's awesome. That's
But
awesome.
I mean, I don't think John is giving himself enough credit for the dangerous things he's actually done in the context of some of the work he's done. He carried liquid nitrogen tanks strapped to his back with a thing around his head to keep it level, climbing up the side of a mountain in Bolivia. So,
why? For what?
We've never heard this, John.
For genetic work. That was in
wow.
northeastern Santa Cruz.
Sounds like Jurassic Park or something.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And John, you told us about when you were out looking for the Willard Sooty Boo Boo, and you guys had to leave because there was a uprising, or
yeah.
Yeah, there were a couple of things on that trip. There was we were trying to get up on top of the Atomboy Plateau, and I've always said that we trusted our Congolese colleagues completely, and somebody came into camp from the top and said, there's a Hutu genocidaire, so one of the people that was involved in the massacres in Rwanda living on top of that plateau, and he wanted us to stay in his yard. And we asked our friends, our colleagues, and we said, "What do you think we should do?" And they said, "We think we should leave." So the next morning, we packed this truck down the field with all our stuff, but we got kind of strung out. Tom Noski, our assistant collection manager, was with me, and the two of us somehow got completely separated on this trail. We weren't going to get lost, but we were completely separated from everybody else on the trail. And I don't know whether we were ahead or behind, but the two of us came up over a hill, and there were two guys we'd never seen before with machine guns looking at us.
Oh my gosh.
Wow, we should have really stayed with everybody else. We
MG.
just walked right by them, and everything else was fine.
Like, how far away were you? Like, did you make eye contact with these guys?
I was going to say probably about 20 meters, 25 meters or so. We could see them. It wasn't like we had full packs on, and so we couldn't have run away or anything. So at that point, you just kind of say, well, I hope they're people we are okay with, the people that we're working with.
Gosh.
That's really scary. That's really scary. Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's crazy. I'd take a Botfly over that. I'm just kidding. No, I wouldn't.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I'm not serious. I would rather do that than have a Botfly.
No, you can recover from a Botfly. You're within 20 meters of a machine gun. You're dead.
I know.
If that person chooses to use it.
Yeah, and you're American too. I used to say if they knew you were American, that's dangerous.
I mean, the interesting thing in our experience in that part of the world, a lot of times, was one, we didn't go into places where that was likely to be an issue if we could afford to do it, and so we just didn't. And the couple of times when there were groups when I was not with them that were doing trips up into some of those areas, the people that actually were treated the worst by the various bands of machine toting groups that are down there would be the actual Congolese, to be honest.
No.
And I think some of that is just realizing they'd be able to get, I don't know. So that's a crazy part of the world.
Right. Oh, crazy.
But there's Willard City Boo Boo up there.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Amanda,
And you
do you
didn't
have
have
any
to go in a
dangerous
canoe
stories?
to see it.
Actually, Rocker Sunbird is the best bird. That's a bird that's only found in the Atombwe Plateau, and there are some records from up in Kuzibiega National Park. That's an entire distribution.
Amanda, you don't have anything like that?
No, are you kidding me? No, you and me. What's this?
This is what's
we have
coming.
not doing.
You told us about canoes. You've had your.
Oh yeah.
I'm expecting to hear that you guys have bought a VW bus and.
Oh right.
Yeah, we're going to spend the next 365 days at Cracker Barrel.
Exactly. With my CPAP. Yeah. That's going to be great. Run the car all night.
Think about all the mosquitoes you'll see.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, well, this was fun. This movie was awesome, so we can't recommend it enough for everybody listening. Go check it out, and it's free to watch on YouTube. So just go to YouTube and type in Listers, and you can watch the whole thing. So, anyone want to close it out?
It's extreme birding. It's something that not everybody should do, but it's worth knowing about, and that movie is a beautifully done expose on it.
Yeah.
My parting words are the things you do for love, which is not just a song.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, and to me it was like an ode to, I know they weren't like super young adults, but just like I admired that they took this time in their life to step off the path of adulthood, kind of, or just the momentum of adulthood that we all get sucked up into. So I thought that was really fun to watch. I loved that slice of life.
I mean, people would think something like that is frivolous, but the reality is that those brothers got a huge appreciation for the natural world, for people, for the kindness of people, the intellect of people, and they developed their own intellect in that way to where they were really good at identifying birds by the end of it. And I think that's good. People should do that
Admirable.
all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Go learn something new. I used to ask, I should text Pete this, and he would he'll send me back a rolling your eyes emoji. But I used to ask him every day to tell me something he learned today that he didn't know the day before. And he hated it, but he did it because he's a good person, and I'm evil. So I never stopped asking him. But I actually feel that way about my life. Go learn something new every day. You're human. You have the capacity to do that. Go learn something new every day.
I love that. Yeah.
You're right. Yeah.